Hey, everybody, this is Michael Coker, and welcome to the Coker on the Record podcast. And today I have a special guest, backed by popular demand. Councilman Tim Sullivan is here from District 1, and he's going to tell you everything you need to know about the Mulberry Comprehensive Plan and the Steering Committee. What is it, and why is it important? So stay tuned. All right, everybody, we got Councilman Tim Sullivan here. Tim, thank you for being here again.
My pleasure.
So obviously, we call you the expert, basically, on our council in everything planning and zoning, right? So obviously, we know Mulberry. It was really important. This was a major issue, was growth and development in our city. And so want to talk to you about a couple things that are going on, a couple things called the Comprehensive Plan and the Steering Committee. But first off, for those that maybe don't know you or didn't see your last episode, tell them a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Name is Tim Sullivan. I live in North Gwinnett Estates on the little southwest corner of District 1. Lived there since 95, raised my kids there. Before that, we lived in Brandon Acres, which, were I still over there, I would have been running against Mayor Coker because that's his district. But yeah, I've been in North Gwinnett since, like I said, the mid-90s. I watched Hamilton Mill explode. There was no Kroger at Ridge Road. There was none of that commercial development. Where the Cabo Shopping Center's at, there was a trailer, two of them next to each other, very, very rural. So I watched that grow, and that's how I got involved back when Kroger came up. I was sort of against it. It didn't make sense to me out in the middle of nowhere. When we had a Kroger in Beaufort that worked just fine. So I went to the very first meeting, zoning stuff, and I noticed nobody got up and complained. Just the person wanting the rezoning spoke, talked about how great it would be, and then nobody objected, and the board went, boom, accepted. So I learned a hard lesson then. If you don't stand up and voice in person, letters and phone calls are part of the process, but you got to get involved and you got to put boots on the ground.
Yeah, no, and obviously as a early community advocate, obviously I appreciate what you've done and what you've already the presence that you've had in our community. Talk a little bit about, I know that there was a thing called the Hamilton Mill Overlay District. What is that? What was your involvement in that? Talk a little bit about that.
Okay, sure. An overlay district is a sort of a special increased requirements. You've probably heard of special use permits where you can do something, but you need a special use. An overlay district is akin to that. It's like saying, regardless of the zoning, here's some more standards that you have to comply with. And they just ride with the land and the property. Where it came about is I had organized a group, homeowner advocates, or people in their HOAs on Hamilton Mill. So folks from Cascade Falls, Ivy Mill, Briar Glen, and those subdivisions, we'd get together and discuss, hey, this is coming. What should we do? Do we support it? Do we deny it? Mostly we were denied because a lot of them didn't make any sense, where they wanted to put commercial versus homeowners and stuff like that. So what we ended up with was like a large laundry list. Okay, if you're going to accept this, commissioners, please make sure that A, B, C, D, da. They had like 30 or 40 things in the list. A lot of it taken from the Mall of Georgia overlay, basically lighting controls, stuff like that for commercial. And the look of the house, it has to be majority siding, no vinyl, that sort of stuff. It was a great laundry list of stuff. And ramifications for commercial that said, you can't have this, you can't have that, you can't have that, you can't have that. So after the third or fourth rezoning that we went to, Kevin Kennerly was commissioner then. He just sort of stopped it and he said, give me that list. And he said, you're reading this every time. He said, we need to do something with that list. And the next month or so, I learned that he had proposed and created an overlay district for Hamilton Mill. It was further expanded to cover Brazelton Highway as well, down to Hog Mountain. And it was basically our list, slightly modified by planning and whoever Kevin brought it to, but that became the overlay. So it sets a minimum standard regardless of what you do.
Interesting. Fascinating. Well, obviously we know that kind of laid some of the foundations, but obviously there were some concerns with some of the overgrowth and obviously some of the zoning decisions that had been made. Obviously, and then we know Mulberry came around, right? So talk to us a little bit first off about, what your vision is and kind of what the role you see Mulberry playing in future planning and development.
Yeah, I think myself and everybody that voted for Mulberry, kind of, at least in District 1, because I knocked on doors and talked to those folks, they were like, I don't want it to change, keep it the same. Now, I know from my experience, you just can't say, okay, no, this land stays like this forever. We don't allow in perpetuities and stuff. So, but you got to be able to work with people. You have to have reasonable guidelines. A lot of what we've done building out Mulberry, the UDOs and stuff like that, is to set a baseline that says, okay, if you're a developer, that's a playbook for you to start with. And if what you build doesn't fit, then don't waste your time. If it does, or it's close, well, come talk to us, see what you got.
What would you say? Because obviously sometimes I hear people that say, Mulberry's too far gone, right? It's too far gone. There's no way we can come back from this. I'm ready to move out of Gwinnett County or whatever, the stuff you hear. What would you say to those people that kind of give them some reassurance of, hey, this is going to be the Mulberry standard now?
Yeah. Well, I would say, from my point, activism over the last 20, 25 years illustrates what I believe in. And talking with the rest of the council over time, one-on-ones and stuff like that, pretty much we all think the same. And it's not put Mulberry in a box and don't let anything ever change. We want to make it better, but not better in the way of 50 million houses, on postage stamp sized lots. I went to a planning commission meeting the other day, and there was a gentleman that kind of made an example of why he was against it. He said, your development is a square and you're trying to put it in a round hole. It doesn't work. There's room for growth and development, but it's got to make sense. My plan is to not let much change. You may see a large parcel of land off Thompson Mill one day get split up into 2 and 3 acre lots from a 10-acre lot process. That's not high density. That's appropriate growth in that sort of sense. On the right corners, you see commercial development. One of the things our group did was we sort of set a precedent with the council at the Board of Commissioners, the Board of Commissioners back in the day that said, we don't see commercial coming past Puckett's Mill Road, which is where the Chevron's at. And we sort of stuck to that for a long, long time between there and Kroger, because the idea is we don't want that to sprawl. So there was a half a dozen or so developments proposed over the year. There were strip shopping centers that would have gone between the two, and you'd end up with Hamilton Mill looking like Breslin Highway, which it's a 2-lane road. I know Breslin Highway was too. But it's been built out and it's been maintained. But you don't see houses on 124 anymore. You used to. It used to look like Hamilton Mill Road. And I don't see that for our future.
Yeah. All right, Councilman. So I know that Mulberry has taken action, right, to move forward with this thing called a steering committee for the comprehensive plan. First off, what is a comprehensive plan and what is a steering committee and what do they do?
Okay. Well, the comprehensive plan, we call it a comp plan. It paints a picture of Mulberry for the next 5, 10, 15 so years. And it's redone every so many years, but it's a forward-looking, again, that playbook that a developer needs to know. We can say, hey, here's our vision. We see a city center in 10 years from now. We think it'll be here. We think the county, the citizens will want some parks and recreation. We envision 15 years from now a park here. Or we envision somehow supporting and beefing up Duncan Park so Seconder can use it. And along with the kids in Mill Creeks, there's just a shortage of that. So that's the plan. The steering committee is there to take information from constituents, from themselves, from the people they represent, and put together that plan, or at least that plan at a 5,000-foot level. Planning and development will take our suggestions, our thoughts and prayers, and put that into a plan which we'll present in multiple meetings to the citizens to make sure that we're on par and we're lining up with what the people want.
Mm-hmm. So basically, it's the citizens kind of give their feedback.
Yes.
The steering committee, if I understand you correctly, kind of steers that feedback into a plan. It goes back to the public and says, hey, are we on the right page, right? Are we on the same sheet of music?
Exactly.
And then they say yes or no, and then kind of that is the ultimate comprehensive plan. Is that right?
Kind of, sort of, but that public comment also has an impact as well.
Okay.
You do an open meeting, and I'll speak just of my district. Say we had proposed, I don't know, something on Thompson Mill, or we thought Thompson Mill should look like this. And folks that lived there came up and said, yeah, but that's not quite what we want. They could give us that feedback, and that plan can be modified. Eventually, when it's done, it'll come to council, and we'll vote on it and approve it. But they have that back and forth for a while as well. And of course, you have any thoughts and feelings in District 1, reach out to me. My phone number, my email is on the website, as is Mayor Coker's. for you District 2 folks. But yes, we'd love the feedback. We put out surveys. We put out several, I think, with city administration to a limited number of people. And we've got an idea. I know based on campaigning, I have an idea, but we've got an idea where we think people want to go with this city.
All right, Councilman, we know that today's May 19th and tonight's a Gwinnett County Commission meeting, right? And they are deciding a development that's on Thompson Mill, just directly across the streets from the city limits. And for those kind of people that were, outcry on social media, why did Mulberry annex some of these large lots around the city? This is one of the reasons, right? So we could have that local control over some of these parcels. And I think that is a perfectly good example. This one was not in that annexation. And now these neighbors are having to show up and really advocate to keep this community looking the way that it should. And so I think that's the benefit of Mulberry. That's the great thing about it. But the best thing is that people can get involved, right? And they can reach out to their neighbors and have discussions. So let's say for people in District 1, if they have an opinion about a development or they have questions, what's the best way for them to get involved?
I would say call me. Send me an email. Kristen O'Rear is our planning commissioner from District 1. Reach out to Kristen. She's incredibly knowledgeable, incredibly thorough. Planning commissioners tend to do more of the footwork and the boots on the grounds for us. That's why we have that committee. So they do the hard work, the heavy lifting. They communicate to us, and we move based on their recommendations, as it were. I, too, also drive around my district, and I look for new things. My wife's really great at it, too. It's, hey, what are they building over there? How'd that happen? And I can tell her. I would say, don't depend so much on social media. It's a hit or miss. You want to know something, come to the horse's mouth. Call me, ask me.
And what about, obviously, as well, we're on the topic of social media, one of the things I see sometimes is like, oh, Mulberry's just approving everything because we're seeing building going on. Can you talk a little bit about that timeline and maybe some of these developments were not approved by Mulberry that we're just now seeing get built right now?
Oh, the best thing to do, if you are curious about what we've seen through, what we've approved, what we've denied, what's been brought to us and been withdrawn because it simply didn't fit, go to the mulberryga.gov website. Under zoning and planning, we have the list of all of the stuff we have gone through. It's like, 12? 12 things. We've approved a couple of things. We've approved a couple of small variances. They made sense. It was a good thing to help a neighbor. And there's been large developments that were pulled. They never came to us. They just said, okay, I understand it doesn't work. And we're negotiating.
Yeah, and first off, I appreciate all the work you do. Like I said, you have been an expert for me. You've been a resource for me as somebody who knows very little about the zoning process, very little about land use. I think people think when you're an attorney, you know everything, and I definitely don't. And so I definitely always seek out Tim's sage advice and counsel, given that he's done it, for so many years and become quite a local expert on it. So thank you for me for that. Is there anything else you want people to know or hear as we kind of wrap up here and talking about Mulberry and planning and zoning?
Well, I guess that's it. I've posted several times the different surveys we've had, the ones that I have access to. Fill those out, send them in, let us know what your thoughts are, what your feelings are. Get in touch, call me, share with me, tell me what you think. I've had several folks over the time period reach out to me, and I've reached back, and, they're like, wow, a city councilman turned my call. They're not used to that from the county. The county never returns your calls. They just go into a black hole. But yes, get in touch with me. Tell me what you think. Come to the Jam Fest. Well, that's a big event we're having. It's part of doing a comprehensive plan is we have to have community outreach. So show up for that. It's at the Duncan Creek Park. I'll be there. I'll have my name tag on. Come see me. Tell me what you think. And if you don't know where you live, I can tell you if you're in D1 or another district, and I'm sure the other council members will be there as well.
That's right. That's right. And I would add too, obviously, if you're calling City Hall, obviously they're extremely busy. They're getting hundreds of applications, it seems like every month. So obviously you can, if you're having problems with City Hall, give us a call, right? We are very easy to get a hold of. Very easy to email, very easy to get a phone call to. And so if you ever have any issues, you're like, hey, I can't get anybody at City Hall to call me back, your councilman will absolutely respond and we'll make sure it gets taken care of. So, well, Councilman Sullivan, thank you as always. Great information. Obviously, even I learned a lot sitting here today. But until next time, for those of you that are out there, thank you for listening. And I look forward to another great day in the city of Mulberry.